Hello, Emmanuel Shachaf.
Hello, hello.
Identity, looking for a better Israel, a better future for Israel. Practically, a war is happening.
We're in the beginning. We're at the threshold of a civil war, which hopefully will be avoided. But the government is definitely looking for a fight on many fronts.
You're talking about Ben Gvir, for instance, right? This morning?
Ben Gvir, Deri. A few people in the government are looking for fights. If it's with the Palestinians, if it's with the international community, if it's with the legal system, it's
With the Americans.
With the Americans, with the Europeans. We're looking for a fight. We're spoiling for a fight.
So, based on those evidence, would you reflect that this new government might last 1 year, 2 years, 4 years?
At the amount of fight it's looking for, I don't think this government will last more than 1 year. And if it lasts more than 1 year, we're in deep trouble.
Why?
Not that we aren't in deep trouble now, but because it means that
No one's
the public hasn't risen up and tried put things straight.
We're talking about the Palestinians issue. The current government is practically trying to avoid it for so many years. What would you say if you had 1 minute today with Benjamin Netanyahu? What would be your advice towards him?
The only way to pull us out of many of these fights, if not most of these fights, or even all of the fights, is to look for an arrangement with the Palestinians. That's the only way, because the one thing that unites all the struggles is the issue is the international community versus Israel, and the Palestinian the conflict with the Palestinian galvanizes the international community against Israel, and as long as that is not being taken care of in any way, and apparently the government is not interested in it, that struggle of the international community against Israel on the basis of the conflict with the Palestinians will get stronger and stronger.
They're saying, well, Mr. Shachaf, be patient. We'll go first of all for Saudi Arabia, and afterwards with more and more countries, as we already did, and then the last partner is going to be the Palestinian ones after the Abu Mazen.
I sincerely doubt that we're going to make any headway with Saudi Arabia, because also the Americans are part of that, and the problem is the lack of stability of the situation, because this situation can blow up any day. Okay, any incident can blow up the situation, which will make everything crumble down, and will be a completely new ball game. So I just don't think you can run a country, a normal policy, if you do not stabilize the most critical issue, which is, in my view, the conflict with the Palestinians.
Well, you were hearing people from the INSS. What is their perspective, the security assembly of Israel? Is it an urgent issue, as you were saying?
It's for them, they look at it as an urgent issue in the mid and long term. They don't look at it as an urgent in the short term, because I think they're probably correct in saying that militarily, security-wise, things can be kept under control, possibly with a lot of violence, but they can be kept under control. In the midterm, it can be 2 years or even less than 2 years. A midterm, we have the issue of succession. That Abu Mazen will go, and whoever will replace him will have to see how that works out. And in the long term, of course, there's just no arrangement being proposed. So nobody knows what we're going towards, what Israel wants, how it intends to deal with the territories which are now being dealt with by the United Nations. And after 55 years, and Hague is waiting. Okay, Hague is waiting. The International Court in Hague Court of Justice in The Hague is waiting and deliberating on what to do with the territory.
So they are saying in the Israeli government right now, well, so Hague is waiting. This time again, we're not going to cooperate with the United Nations Council, with Hague. We are not part of it. So what would you say to them?
I think it's criminal not to relate in a positive way to what's happening with the United Nations, because it will have consequences relating to the bilateral and the multilateral relations of Israel with the European Union, with the United States government, with the Arab nations, with the Palestinians. So it's all connected, and to disregard what's happening in the United Nations is simply ridiculous. It's just as ridiculous as thinking that after 55 years of occupation, we can keep going as if nothing happened.
You know, we're talking about what is going to happen with the international Supreme Court, but also in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
The local Israeli Supreme Court is in front of a big clash in the coming days.
There's a big clash, and that will feed into the international situation, because if as a result of the impending clash, there are several clashes. First of all, there's a clash regarding the territories. There's some a settlement which was supposed to be removed and is not going to be removed now. And there are issues of appointment of a minister. They will have to be discussed by the Supreme Court, and it's very likely that the Supreme Court will decide against the position of the government. And if then, as a result, the government decides to pass a clause which will and make it possible for the government to overrule the Supreme Court, that will reflect on how the international community looks at Israel's legal system. So everything is connected. The government is spoiling for a fight, is looking for a fight at every corner, is not trying to avoid fights, and it'll get a fight.
You are positive that they will get a fight from the Israeli judges? That seems that for the last year or two, they are trying to avoid any kind of fight, and they already approved Benjamin Netanyahu as...
I think the Supreme Court is aware of the fact that they made a big mistake when they approved Benjamin Netanyahu at the time. I think the Supreme Court will stand strong and will rule against the government in some critical decisions.
Also regarding the Aryeh Deri ministry?
Yes, I think that in particular, I don't think they will make it possible for Aryeh Deri to serve as minister.
Because it's irreasonable?
It's not reasonable. It's not reasonable that already the last time he was appointed as a minister, the issue came up, and the government the Supreme Court said that it's it's very close to being unreasonable. And after that decision made it possible for him to serve, he committed another 2 crimes and was convicted of them. So it's quite clear that the conclusion you can draw that it's not reasonable anymore for him to employ him as a government minister.
So you're saying that no Deri or no Supreme Court as we know it, or no government of Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah.
This is a deadlock.
Yeah, it's pretty much a deadlock, and the government will, if the way things look now, the government will use all the force at its disposal, and it has a considerable majority in the Knesset. It will probably go for the overruling clause, and that will mean that we have to go into the streets to save democracy in Israel.
You know, we're talking also about another front with the Americans regarding Ukraine.
Ukraine, yes. Yeah,
Russia.
as if there are not enough fronts, the government decided also to cozy up to Putin, or at least on the face of it, have a conversation with the Russian foreign minister. And there was an immediate response from the Senate, from Republican senator, head of the
Head of the majority of the Republicans.
Head of the majority of the Republicans. It's not the majority in the Senate.
He basically said
a major Republican said that this is not what is expected of Israel at this time.
So it's not only lack of, let's say, trust with the Democratic Party in the Senate. It's also
from the Republicans, which is actually quite amazing that we're really trying to fight with everybody.
And while talking about that, any good news that you might find in those intriguing times?
I think the only thing that I can, and there's maybe some wishful thinking, that what's happening is telling the citizens of Israel that we have to stand up for our rights, and we have to go into the street and we have to fight for them, and the earlier the better. And we'll see in the next few days, next few weeks, to what extent that will actually happen.
And also the launch of the new book in Arabic.
In this crucial
written
time,
by Emanuel
crucial
Shachar.
time, I'm happy to say that in the next few days, I'll finally launch the book Identity: The Quest for Israel's Future in Arabic, and it'll be available in English, in Hebrew, and Arabic, and also soon to be on Amazon in Arabic.
As the Senator Lindsey Graham said, I'm a bit worried.
He's a bit worried, yes. Lindsey Graham is a bit worried, and if Lindsey Graham is a bit worried, that's quite meaningful.
Emanuel Shachar, I want to thank you very much. People that want to be part of the community, Facebook, just be nice.
Hopefully
Hopefully and respectful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.